Hi, everyone, and welcome to a brand new episode of Echoes of Innovation, the podcast where we explore the intersection of technology, leadership, and forward thinking ideas with inspiring minds from around the globe. I'm your host, Aditya Gupta, marketing head at Maruti Techlabs, and today I'm genuinely excited to dive into the conversation. Now, let's talk about our guest. Joining us today is someone we have had the privilege of working in the past, Viktoria Bashkite, an accomplished product leader with years of experience driving product strategy and execution across diverse industries and global markets. Victoria brings with her a wealth of knowledge on building impactful products, collaborating with cross functional teams, and navigating the complexity of working across geographies. Victoria, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Aditya. I'm really happy to be here. And it's always a pleasure to be with you and collaborate with you guys.
Great. So let's start with your journey. Can you walk us through how you got into product management and leadership? What drew you to this path?
So my path into product management wasn't really linear. I started my career in industrial engineering. I hold PhD in this field. And later on, once I switched several jobs and I realized that I really want to understand why these products are built. I mean, not only physical, but also software. It was like pure curiosity, and it drew my attention towards software engineering and software development. So there I found this fantastic intersection between technology, people, and business, because whatever we do to make business flourish. So I had to make a huge change around my 30s. So basically I left my life in manufacturing industry and I moved towards software development, where I really felt I belong, because it was really tough. But at the end of the day, it was a creative path. It was really fast-paced. It was full of interesting stories, and the journey was kind of very rewarding for me. So, yeah, I think that's very shortly about my journey towards product management.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Okay, from your perspective, what makes a great product leader? Any principle or philosophies you always go back to?
Um, after almost 4 years in Middle East and having these cross geographies, cross cultures experiences, one thing that makes the whole bunch of difference is actually feeling of ownership.
Right.
If that's one thing that is kind of common understanding of the whole team,
Right.
it will be a huge difference.
Great. Correct. Correct. Okay. We were excited to work with you of your experience leading global teams. In your view, what's the biggest challenge in managing team across different countries and time zones?
I think the biggest challenge is the communication, and especially it was, I would say, pretty obvious once the COVID started. So my product surged over 600%.
Oh, wow.
A lot of customers, a lot of communication. We had to scale in no time because it was just, what customers needed. We did really well, but I felt how communication is very important, because my customers were more or less 12 hours away from me, 10 to 12 hours away from me. My team was like around same, so it was literally across 2 continents. And I can tell you that one thing that really inspired me is how flexible people were at that time. So we agreed how we want to communicate, so not to burn out completely, and also have some normal time to rest and to overcome all these communication issues. But it was a very challenging time. I think a lot of people learned a lot during that period, and they were able actually to create these remote teams, because now a lot of companies are still working remotely and they are pretty successful in that.
Correct. I think we all should agree that COVID was the great teacher. Okay, so moving ahead, were there any specific rituals or tools or leadership practice that helped you build trust and maintain alignment across these diverse teams?
Um, I think clarity and transparency. Because when you're working in a remote setup, it's all about trust, right? So if your leadership, and I think that's why a lot of companies are failing now, because they don't trust their teams. So they want them to go back to the office, to see them in person, because there are a lot of bad actors as well. People are having 2, 3 jobs, juggling different continents. I don't know how these people are doing that, but I heard a lot of stories. So I think trust obviously is one thing that challenged a lot of leadership. But what I thought, like for me, worked the best is actually having very open conversation with the team. Because many times as a product leader, you are challenged in terms of like, why are we doing that? Show me the data, show me the conversations with the customers, show me why, how much money it's gonna bring. And it's not asked by your management. It's actually coming from your engineering team. Because every time you ask them to, guys, let's switch, let's do something else. Oh my God, that's like where you need to be as open, as transparent as it's possible.
Correct. I think you rightly said there is two T's which makes it possible. One is trust and transparency. These are a very important pillar for any of these kind of a business model. Okay, let's talk and let's switch to towards product side. Let's switch gears to product development itself. How do you maintain a strong product vision when the execution happens globally?
Um, you know, it's a great question because I think these days, so I started product management almost 10 years ago. And it was pretty straightforward. You talk to the customers, you see what their needs are, you talk to the tech team, you see what they think if something XYZ happens, what we have to do. And you combine it. So you kind of see what the future looks like, but you can plan, like, let's say, for like 1, 2, 3 years. Now, I think there is no point to plan for any 6 months, It's like the maximum that you can afford at this point of time. But the basics are still there. You should know your customer. You should talk to them all the time and keep the connection. And of course, you should talk to your team. Because a lot of time people underestimate how much knowledge these people have and how many ideas they actually have. It's just fascinating. And a lot of, I would say, leaders in my life, at some point they lost the connection, with people on the ground that are working daily on this specific product and what is happening with the customers. Because they got their understanding how it should look like, but they never double check like what is the dynamic, are we going in the right direction? Because they already, set their mind that it should be that way. So I think this curiosity, always seeking for, like a kid, you're always excited. Oh, what's new? What's happening? So it's really it's a skill, and we are losing it once we're getting older.
Correct. I think you rightly said it's a very simple but a very meaningful point that you need to listen your people. You need to talk to them, listen what they are covering into. Okay, though you mentioned that in your whole journey you have a lot of memories, but let's talk about any memorable experience or example where cross-border collaborations really lead to us something exceptional, perhaps from your work with us or elsewhere.
With you guys, it was actually what I admired the most is the way that we overcame the challenges. Because, it's a bit hectic these days, and sometimes you change the direction, you change the way, you need things. You should stop X and start Y. And this is like much more complicated to execute with the external team, because external team doesn't have all these insights, or like doesn't know the processes inside the country, why one or another thing is happening, because it's internal process. So I think the flexibility of the external partner is so important, and it actually makes a whole difference to their partners. With the cross-functional team that I had experienced before, that was a planning sessions. I could never believe that something like quarterly planning sessions where you have support team of your product marketing, product managers, engineering, internal customers, representatives in one, let's say, quarterly review, and share all this retrospective feedback, like what went well, what didn't go well, like what should we do in the future. You just get such a great overview what's happening and what you actually need to do in the future, that it's fascinating. I think I have never ever experienced anything like this in any other setup, but that was the time where I felt like, oh my God, it's actually working. People know why we're doing that. People know why things didn't work out. People know what the customers actually think. And, we're just out there like as we are, no hiding, no information, nothing. And it was, I don't know, I think it was one of the most mature moments in my career where we were just part of this fantastic collaboration internally, of course, but across globe and across functions.
Correct. That's I think was insightful. Thanks for sharing. So, moving ahead, we have seen firsthand how you collaborate with external partners. What's your approach to partnerships with technology teams or service providers like Maruti Techlabs?
I think it's personal touch.
That I
So
agree.
I'm not afraid to be vulnerable because, sometimes it's really difficult to find this win-win scenario. But you always understand that on the other side is also a human being.
Correct.
So you really try to find the solution that will work for both. And sometimes you negotiate, obviously, to understand like where the boundaries are. Because as a European, especially Estonian woman, when we see the price, we know this is the price.
Correct.
We never challenge it. Once I came to Middle East, I was like, nobody thinks that way. It's actually once you start asking about the price, it's actually the beginning of the conversation. It's not the end.
That's the
So for me, it was really a mind-blowing experience. And I think it's not only about the price, right? It's about everything. You try to find the best possible solution that will satisfy your company and will provide enough flexibility and trust for the partner. So finding these win-win scenarios, because every normal customer actually wants a partner to succeed as well.
Okay. What's your advice for service companies or tech partners who want to build meaningful long-term relationship with product leaders like yourself?
For me, I think it's just building trust, from day one. I always felt that this long-term mentality where you kind of see like what you want to achieve within 6 months and what you see is this partnership long-term, this is what actually helps a lot building healthy partnerships. Because a lot of people, and I saw it unfortunately in practice, they just want the short-term winnings, which are usually very small and really unhealthy. So thanks to our healthy relationship, I hope so at least, we're having this conversation right now. Because, I'm always happy to see my partners, I'm always happy to communicate with them, I'm always happy to help them. Because at the end of the day, we work in these companies right now, right? But after 6 months, you don't know. But building this strong personal connection is, I think, one way of building healthy partnerships.
Right. Okay, so let's take the step back. Leading remote and diverse team isn't just about having a right processes in place. it's also about building the right culture. So how do you create a strong team culture when your team might never even meet face to face?
That's a huge challenge, I would say, because can you imagine people failing to build good culture being in person? But if you are remote, it's even more challenging.
Correct.
But I mean, in my, let's say, overall professional life experience, what I felt worked the best is actually creating this open space, safe space for any feedback, for any problem, for anything to share that person feels like bothering him or her. I was leading a team of 20 women at one point of my life. It was something, different level. I was young that time. But even that time, I found time to have one-on-one conversations with all of them. Yes,
Oh,
it wasn't weekly, it was bi-weekly usually, but it made such a huge difference.
correct.
So even though, as you mentioned, processes were in place, it was a very corporate company, huge for Estonia, we kind of found a way how we can trust each other, share our issues without being judged. And that was really healthy environment. There were some challenges, obviously, but overall, I didn't have to do to explain multiple times because we were on the same page. And I think just having this safe space where you can ask the person, let's have one-on-one, let's talk about things, let's talk about something that doesn't work. That's the best way to approach this problem. Because every time, as a product manager, you're actually having all the stakeholders, right? You need to talk to the customers, you need to talk to engineering, you need to talk to your internal, external, legal, marketing teams, like literally everyone. And people say, yeah, but you're not managing anyone. And it's like, sometimes people come to me more often than people go to their manager. Because from me, they always get this honest response. They get this knowledge that it won't be shared with anyone. They know it's safe to share. And this is what creates this healthy, trustful environment. And I don't think you need to be remote or in person. It can be in any setup.
Correct.
It's more about humans, it's not AI thing.
Correct. I 100% agree. I think this human to human conversation, one to one conversation is always important in any kind of business model. And that's always helped to each of us to understand and share and also acknowledge and give them a respect. So, yep, I agree 100% what you are communicating. Okay. For aspiring product leaders out there, especially those working in distributed environments, what's the one piece of advice you'll give them today?
Oh, it's a tough one. But I think it's, as we mentioned before, just connect with each team member, like create a safe space, no judgment, listen to them, and help them to grow. I mean, be this type of leader who is going to ask, why are you doing that, or why? What is the issue behind the scenes? So they will feel seen and heard, and I think that's one of the most important things that we can do. Because now, I mean, Aditya, let's be honest, with AI, the hard skills are going to the second place. The only thing that we can provide to ourselves and our teams is just human to human conversations,
Correct.
this empathy, this healthy environment where you actually want to go to work every day. So yeah, create safe space, no judgment, hear your people, and try to help them as much as you can.
Correct. There should not be any Monday blues. Okay, that's where we now lead to my favorite one, which is rapid fire. Before we wrap up, let's do a quick rapid fire round. Just say the first thing that comes to mind, one word or one sentence. I'll not give you much time for that. Favorite productivity tool?
Any AI tool, Gamma app, and I love Glasp for YouTube video transcripts. It's amazing.
Books or resource you often recommend?
My favorite one by Christopher Voss and Dahiras, it's Never Split the Difference. Amazing negotiation guide.
Oh,
Just listen to it or read it. It's beautiful.
I'm going to listen this. And one failure you learned the most from?
Oh, at the beginning of my career as a product manager, I fell in love with the solution and I went all in and I forgot actually to test it with the users. So it never took
Great.
off. And it was, oh my God. Now, these days, even if I don't like it and users love it, I'm like, guys, it's all yours.
Not going to be more emotionally attached from our
Yes.
own side. Agree. One emerging trend in product or tech you are excited about right now?
I really love all this automation and AI powered decision making. But people forget one thing, what I see constantly over and over again. If you don't have mature processes in place, you cannot automate them. Like,
Correct.
first, make sure your data is good and your processes are mature, then implement. But without that, you will just make things worse. And we saw examples already, right?
Correct. Rightly, you rightly said. Okay, Victoria, this was an absolute pleasure. Thank you for sharing your experience, insights, and leadership lessons with us. Where can our listeners connect with you or follow your work?
LinkedIn is my favorite platform
Ah,
for any connections. I truly believe that it helps professionals connect worldwide. So I would appreciate connection to be connected there.
yeah, I think LinkedIn is the best for connecting. Thanks
Fantastic.
again, Victoria. And to our listeners, stay tuned for more conversations like this. Subscribe to Echoes of Innovation or Maruti Techlabs, and we will see you next time again. Thank you, everyone.